Hello, Gary talks. I'm gonna be real. It's been really hard to record a video today. It feels weird. I don't know. I just feel a little weird, but I do still have something on my heart, so I'm gonna share it. I wanted to talk about guilt today. That's probably why I don't want to talk about it. My partner has been here for a couple days, about a week. We're encroaching upon a week, and we've been mostly chilling. He's been doing like calls and like he's a usually very regimented person. He wakes up at a particular time. He goes to sleep at a particular time. He used to do intermittent fasting. He has like calls and like study sessions and learning sessions and like it's very on his schedule. And he's been kind of like lax since coming in, and it's been really interesting to see him that way. Obviously, it's like fun to get to chill and like we're binge watching The Magicians right now too, to be honest, because that show has got me gripped up. We finished like the first 2 seasons. We're in season 3, and it is really treacherous to get caught up in shows because it really like takes up. I'm like, where's all my time going? Yeah, because every episode is like 40 minutes. You're like spending a whole day watching things, and so it is really important to honor your commitments. And that's something that I've grappled with for myself, where like I relax a lot, but then also I don't be doing enough work to compensate for the relaxing. Because they'd be like, work hard, play hard, and it doesn't have to be work, like this is not work, but I'm not even doing this because if I'm watching something and, consuming something else, someone else's energy and their creation, then I'm not spending the time to create my own too. So about the guilt, he has an accountability call that he's actually on right now. Because he's a person who has saw a lot of structure in his life and, didn't have a strong, I don't want to speak for his experience, but from what he's told me, a strong father figure in his life, male role model in his life, And so now he's been able to surround himself with people who he respects and who respect him and who are willing to hold him accountable and who do hold him accountable. And so this person is calling him to be like, you've been missing some calls. Like, what did they do? And when he told me that he had the call, I actually noticed that I felt like guilty. I was like, yikes, have I not been contributing? Or have I been contributing to this like lax, this lapse as well? Is it like, am I not doing enough to also like be like work? And just like feeling like, that's an interesting feeling. And at first I didn't know what the feeling was. And I was like, it just feels like, and then I realized the reason I also felt weird about it is because it doesn't have anything to do with me. Like, it's his choices. Of course I have influence, right? And I can be like, let's do this, let's do that. But also, he is his own person. And he is allowed to be responsible for himself. And it's not like I've been like, let's watch. Like, there's actually been times where I'm doing things and he's like, do you want to watch? And I'm like, okay, cool, sure, because I do want to watch. And interesting. It's just been an interesting experience of like guilt and realizing like that's a word that has followed me and is a word that I feel a lot. Like, especially in this past year, I think with all the conflicts around housing with my mom and my dad, even coming here at first with my cousin, I felt guilty for like taking space and being like, yikes. And it's an interesting feeling to go through, guilt. And I have a really good friend who said this amazing thing to me when I told him like canceling plans made me feel guilty. Or just not wanting to hang out made me feel guilty. He's like, damn straight you're guilty. Guilty of taking care of yourself. Guilty of putting yourself first. Guilty of not being a dick to what you need, which is space. Guilty of, doing your thing and now allowing me to do my thing. Guilty just means I did it. There's no need to be shameful about it. And you know what it is, honestly, I think it's important in this moment with my partner feeling like, why do I feel guilty about something that he's doing, is analyzing my contribution. It's not so much like, am I contributing to him and influencing him and acting on him and but like, what am I doing in and of myself? and why. Because if I'm feeling guilty, it's something about me. So I'm like, okay, so what do I feel guilty of? And I was like, I guess for also chilling and for vibing or whatever. I was like, but I've been chilling and vibing and doing things still. So what is that? And I was like, I guess it's in being in the light of someone who is very productive and then relaxing. You kind of see the contrast of like, oh, there's things that I need to be doing for myself to be on top of my things to get to where I want to go. Because he's a very like vision, we're going person, goal setting and like achieving, which is, things we talk about. There's so much to talk about with that stuff, but also really important. Really important. I think he and I are a really fun and powerful example in my life and it has been my main way of better understanding masculine, feminine energy. That's a whole separate topic that needs to be delved into, and I want to like read on it before I give information, because it's a large topic that he and I get into a lot of conversations about, because he works with divine sacred masculinity. So his learning and his resources, it's very interesting seeing how people talk about these things. So the reason I bring it up is that he's very much, when I think of masculine energy, I think of very pointedness, and he tends to get to his goals through the pointedness. And I think of feminine energy as chaotic and still creating things, because if you think of the universe, great, like, the Big Bang or whatever, like, it's chaos and then boom, but then things progress at the same time. How they move together. So it's funny how we both, like, I tumble, I feel like, my way to my next things, to my new insights, to my opportunities. If y'all watch BoJack, as you know I love, sometimes it makes me think of like Mr. Peanut Butter. I don't think I have chance and luck like that, like opportunity presenting itself in that way. But just like in terms of just flowing and things falling together versus like pointedly making them come together. And both are really valuable. But I think it's nice when now we're having a checking of like, oh, we're not doing any of the pointed stuff right now. So time to realign. So instead of, it's just like, it's fun to even see myself in recording this video, the progression of from when I first started. First of all, the first couple takes of the other videos I was trying to record, ridiculous. And then even as I've been recording, this is a new method that I've never really done, where I'm speaking about the same thing and recording different bits and editing it. Making this like a productive thing. I felt guilty about feeling like a lazy ass bum because I've been watching a show that I enjoy, but also I've been giving a lot of attention to it. Felt kind of bad about that. And it was only brought to my attention because my partner has somebody who's like, hey, what's going on? And this is a moment, instead of feeling like, shit, oh, what does it mean? Like unhealthy, toxic, ooh, instead of putting all these labels and feeling withdrawing and shrinking in light of this new awareness, this acknowledgement, being able to like process and expand in it. Breathe in it. Yoga has been really helpful too and I think it is, I don't do a lot of yoga, but in the times that I do, I see how it is very helpful for people's spiritual journey, because you really learn to expand and breathe through the discomfort. And obviously knowing, good pain, bad pain, but like the places where when you're stretching, you are stretching. So you need to breathe into it. And an exhale is actually when you stretch even deeper. So just really interesting things. Wanted to share that. What are some things, I got some questions, that you feel guilty about, and how do you manage guilt? What was your first experience with that? Who taught you about guilt? Oh, my family definitely taught me about guilt. And the church, for sure. So would love to hear that. Have a wonderful weekend. What even is a weekend?